She called me dramatic for being hurt. She called herself a victim after I caught her. So I smiled, grabbed a suitcase, and treated it like just another task I could finish calmly. Hey viewers, before we move on, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to hear more stories like this. My name's Ethan. I'm 31 and I work as a systems analyst for a logistics company. The job is steady, the pay is good, and I've always liked the simple satisfaction of fixing problems people thought were impossible. You'd be surprised how much that mindset bleeds into your personal life. When something breaks, I don't panic. I troubleshoot. I make a plan. I patch the leak, I rewrite the script, and I move forward. That's how I loved Lauren. I met her at a friend's fundraiser in downtown Austin. She was one of those people who could hold a room without trying. She talked with her hands, laughed easily, and somehow made eye contact like she actually saw you. She worked in brand partnerships for a skincare company then. She told me she loved big ideas, big outcomes, big energy. I was quieter, more reserved, but I made her feel grounded. Or at least that's what she told me. For the first year, we were solid. We weren't the couple who posted everything online. We were the couple who cooked at home, stayed up too late talking, and made boring plans like buying a better couch. I liked boring plans. I liked stability. I liked the feeling of coming home and knowing what my evening would look like. Lauren liked it too, until she didn't. We moved in together after 2 years, a mid-rise apartment with a small balcony that overlooked the street. It was nothing special, but it became ours. We split rent at first. Then she got laid off when her company reorganized, and the split turned into me covering the full amount while she took a breath and found the right fit. I didn't mind at the time. People fall. You help them back up. That's what a partnership is supposed to be. I picked up extra work. I took on a weekend contract helping a client clean up their inventory system. I stopped eating out as much. I paused a vacation I'd been planning. I told myself we'd take it later, when her new job started and things felt even again. She got a new job about 4 months later, this time at a fast-growing tech sales firm. Different industry, same vibe. She loved the hustle culture. She loved the words like growth, targets, pipeline, leverage. She started dressing sharper, wearing perfume more often, listening to podcasts about negotiation on the way to work. She also started coming home later. At first it was believable. New job, new expectations, new people to impress. Then it became a pattern. Thursdays were team dinners. Fridays were client drinks. Mondays were prep meetings that went long. Always something. Always a reason that sounded just official enough to shut down questions. And whenever I asked, she'd do this little sigh like I was exhausting her. "You're so predictable, Ethan. You're always anxious about nothing. Why do you need updates like I'm checking in with my dad?" I'd swallow it. I'd tell myself the edge in her voice was stress, that she was tired, that she didn't mean it. It wasn't just the late nights either. Her attention shifted away from us in small, surgical cuts. She'd stop listening mid-conversation. She'd respond to me while staring at her phone. She'd cancel plans without offering alternatives. She'd talk about the future like it was this foggy concept she wasn't sure she wanted anymore. One night, I surprised her with tickets to a concert she used to love. Nothing huge, just a band she used to play in the kitchen when she was happy. She looked at the tickets and forced a smile. "That's sweet," she said, and then added, "But I might have a work thing that night." Work thing. That phrase became a weapon. It could cancel anything. It could justify anything. I started feeling like I wasn't her boyfriend. I was her background noise. Still, I didn't accuse, I didn't spiral, I did what I always did. I adapted, I tried being more spontaneous, I suggested weekend trips, I cooked nicer dinners, I started going to the gym more consistently, partly for my health, partly because I could feel myself shrinking inside our relationship and I wanted something that was mine. None of it mattered. The distance kept growing, and the worst part was, she acted like the distance was my fault. "You're not fun anymore, you don't challenge me, you're too safe. Too safe." Like safety was something shameful. Then came the morning that changed everything, and it didn't start with a screaming fight or a dramatic confession. It started with coffee. I woke up early on a Saturday, the way I always did. Lauren was still asleep, tangled in the sheets like she hadn't moved all night. Her phone was on the kitchen counter, plugged in, face up. I wasn't the kind of guy who snooped. I never had been, and honestly, I didn't even reach for it at first. I was grinding coffee beans, half asleep, thinking about how I'd convince her to spend a quiet weekend with me for once. Then her phone buzzed. Once, twice. I glanced over, irritated more than suspicious. The screen lit up with a notification banner that sat there long enough for me to read it without touching anything. Derek R. Last night was insane. I can't stop thinking about you. My throat went dry. Another buzz came immediately after. Derek R. Same place next week? Don't wear that innocent face again. It wrecked me. It wasn't just flirting. It wasn't just a meme. It wasn't ambiguous. It was personal, familiar, bold, the kind of text you send when you think you own someone. I stood there in the kitchen holding a scoop of coffee like my brain had forgotten what to do with my hands. The sound of the grinder fading into silence felt like a door closing somewhere inside me. Derek wasn't a friend I recognized. He wasn't a cousin. He wasn't anyone from our circle. But I remembered the name. She'd mentioned him once or twice when she first started her job. She called him one of the top performers. She said he had big energy and confidence for days. She laughed when she said it, like it was harmless. I'd laughed too. Now I wasn't laughing. I didn't wake her up screaming. I didn't throw the phone at the wall. I didn't storm out. I sat at the kitchen table with the phone face down like it was poisonous and waited until she woke up on her own. She stumbled into the kitchen an hour later wearing one of my shirts, rubbing her eyes, hair messy. "Morning," she said casually, reaching for a mug. I watched her like she was a stranger wearing the skin of the woman I used to trust. "We need to talk," I said. Her hand paused in midair. "About what?" I slid her phone across the table. I didn't even open it. I didn't need to. Her face told me everything before she touched it. She saw the notifications. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes flicked to me like she was calculating. Then she exhaled, sharp, annoyed. "Oh my God, Ethan, seriously?" That was her first response. Not sorry, not panic, not guilt. Seriously. "Who is Derek, Lauren?" I asked. She picked up the phone, scrolled, and then set it down like it was nothing. "A coworker," she said. "That's it?" She shrugged, pouring coffee like the conversation was about groceries. It was a stupid thing. It happened after the quarterly event. Everyone was drinking. I didn't plan it. My heart pounded in this slow, heavy way. "So you slept with him," I said. She looked at me like I'd asked her something unreasonable. "Yes, Ethan, once. It's not the end of the world." I stared at her. Once. I couldn't even process how casually she said it. "How long have you been talking to him?" Her eyes rolled like she was tired of my questions. "A few weeks. It's not like I was hiding some second life. It was just fun. Fun." That word landed like an insult. I was quiet for a moment, trying to keep my voice steady. "Did you think about me at all?" She scoffed. "Don't do that. Don't make me the villain. You act like I stabbed you. It was one night. You're acting like a victim." There it was. Victim. She said it like it was disgusting, like feeling betrayed was embarrassing. I leaned back in my chair and felt something in me switch off. Not rage, not tears, just clarity. I didn't beg, I didn't negotiate, I didn't ask for reassurance like I could talk her into valuing me again. I just nodded once. "Okay," I said. She blinked, thrown off by how calm I sounded. "Okay, that's it?" I stood up from the table. "You're right," I said. "It was one night, and this is one breakup." For a second, she laughed like I was joking. "Ethan, stop. You're being dramatic. People mess up. It happens." I walked past her into the bedroom. She followed immediately, voice rising. "What are you doing?" I opened the closet and pulled out a suitcase, the same one we used on trips we used to enjoy before she started treating our relationship like a burden. I started folding clothes with the same steady pace I used at work when a system crashed and everyone panicked. She stood in the doorway watching, confused. "You can't just leave because I made a mistake." I didn't look at her. "It wasn't a mistake," I said. "It was a choice." She scoffed again, but it had a crack in it now. "You don't understand how stressed I've been. This job is insane. You sit at home and live in your safe little world. You don't get pressure." I paused with the shirt in my hands and finally looked at her. "You're right," I said quietly. "I don't get the pressure of sleeping with someone else and then blaming my partner for being hurt." Her face hardened. "See? That attitude. You always twist things. You always need to be right." I went back to packing. The more silent I became, the more frantic she got. She started talking faster, trying different angles like she was pitching a deal. "We can fix this. It didn't mean anything. He's not you. I was drunk. I was lonely. You've been distant too. We've been stale. You never surprise me. You don't fight for us. You don't chase me anymore." I didn't respond to any of it. Because the truth was simple. You don't betray someone you respect. And she didn't respect me. I carried the suitcase into the living room. She stepped in front of me. "You're really leaving? Just like that?" "Yes," I said. Her eyes filled, and for the first time she looked scared. "Wait. No. Ethan, please. We've been together almost 5 years." I nodded. "I know." Her voice dropped into something softer, more desperate. "I love you." I looked at her and felt the weight of every night I'd sat alone while she chased work things. Every time I'd paid more than my share because I believed in her. Every time I'd made myself smaller so she could feel bigger. "I don't doubt you believe that," I said. "But love without respect is just entitlement." She flinched. "You're making me sound like a monster." "No, Lauren. You're doing that on your own." I walked out the door. She followed me all the way down the hallway, barefoot, crying now, voice breaking. "Ethan, please. Please don't do this. I'll block him. I'll quit my job. I'll do anything. Anything except undo what you did." Outside, the air felt cold and clean. I loaded the suitcase into my car. My hands were steady. My chest felt like it was full of broken glass, but my hands were steady. She stood on the curb, still talking, still pleading, still trying to pull me back into the role I'd always played. The role of the man who forgives, absorbs, and stays. I got into the driver's seat. The engine came to life. She tapped on the window lightly like she couldn't believe I wasn't responding. "Say something," she whispered. I rolled the window down just enough to be heard. "Goodbye, Lauren." And then I drove away. I didn't know where I was going at first. I just drove until the city thinned out and the streets got quieter. Eventually, I ended up at my friend Noah's place. He lived in a small house with his girlfriend Bree, and they were the kind of couple who didn't play games. Noah opened the door, saw my face, and didn't ask for details right away. He just stepped aside and said, "Come in." That first night was strange. I didn't cry the way movies tell you will. I didn't collapse. I just sat on the couch staring at nothing while my brain replayed the exact tone of Lauren's voice when she said victim, like my pain was inconvenient. Noah sat beside me later with 2 beers, slid one across the table, and said, "You don't have to talk if you don't want to." I nodded, grateful. But by the second beer, the words started leaking out anyway. Not in a dramatic flood. More like a slow confession I couldn't hold back anymore. I told him everything. The late nights, the client dinners, the perfume that didn't match, the way she used to look at me like I was the safest thing in her life, and then started looking at me like I was an anchor dragging her down. Noah listened, jaw tight. When I finished, he said one sentence. "She didn't cheat because you were boring. She cheated because she wanted to." That sentence saved me from weeks of self-blame. I stayed with them for 3 days. I called in sick to work on Monday, not because I wanted time to mope, but because I needed to stabilize my life like a system after a failure. I found a short-term rental online. 1 bedroom, clean, simple, no shared history in the walls, no photos that still looked like promises. Lauren texted me nonstop the first day, then the second, then the third. I didn't answer. I blocked her on everything by day 4. No explanation, no long paragraphs, no final argument, just silence. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. The first 2 weeks were brutal in quiet ways. I'd wake up at night expecting to hear her in the bathroom. I'd reach for my phone to send her something stupid like a meme and then remember I didn't have someone like that anymore. But every time the emptiness hit, I remembered her voice. It was one night, "Stop acting like a victim." And then I remembered my own voice. It was one breakup. I started making changes. I went back to the gym consistently. Not as a punishment, but as a reminder that I could endure discomfort and come out stronger. I stopped skipping meals. I cleaned my apartment like a ritual. I updated my resume and applied for the leadership position I'd avoided because I didn't want to move Lauren away from her new career path. The offer came fast. A senior analyst role with a pay bump and a better team. More responsibility, more pressure. But pressure I could handle. I took it. A month later, I found out through Noah that Lauren's situation was already cracking. Apparently, Derek wasn't the prince she imagined. He was married, or at least not single in any clean way. He'd told people Lauren was just someone fun from work. When rumors spread, the office got ugly. Someone reported them after the quarterly event because it happened in a company-paid venue and the leadership didn't want headlines. Lauren didn't get fired, but she got pulled into meetings she couldn't charm her way out of. Her reputation shifted overnight. The same people she used to laugh with now kept their distance. The same job she treated like a gateway started treating her like a liability. That's what happens when you gamble with your image and lose. She also couldn't afford our apartment without me. She moved out, downsized, and started posting those vague quotes online about healing and growth and losing someone you love because you were afraid of losing yourself. I didn't watch any of it. Noah did. Bree did. I didn't need the updates to move forward. I was already moving. 3 months after the breakup. My life felt different. Not perfect, not magically healed, but mine. I could come home and breathe. I could sit in silence without feeling like I was waiting for someone to finally choose me. I could plan a weekend and actually enjoy it instead of wondering if I was going to be canceled on for another work thing. Then the attempt started. It began with an email to my work address. The subject line was simple. "Can we talk?" I opened it with zero expectation. "Ethan, I know you hate me, but I need you to hear me out. That night was the biggest mistake of my life. I've never felt so stupid. I miss us. I miss you. Please meet me for coffee. No pressure, just closure. Closure. The word people use when they want the door cracked open again." I deleted it. The next week, an unknown number called me during lunch. I answered thinking it was a client. It was her sister. Her voice was sharp, like she had rehearsed it. "Lauren's falling apart. She can't sleep. She's barely eating. I know what she did was wrong, but you don't just abandon someone you loved. Be an adult. Talk to her." I laughed once, not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. "Tell Lauren to stop acting like a victim," I said, and hung up. I blocked the number. Lauren tried again through a friend request from a burner account. She tried sending messages through mutual friends. She tried leaving a handwritten note at Noah's house, which Noah threw away without even showing me. Then she showed up at my apartment. I was coming home from the gym, sweat on my neck, headphones in, mind calm. I opened the front door, and there she was, sitting on the hallway floor like a sad movie scene. Her eyes were red, her hair looked dull. Her outfit was too nice for someone who'd been crying for hours. She stood up fast when she saw me. "Ethan, thank God, please. Can I come in?" I didn't move aside. "No," I said. Her mouth opened like she didn't understand the word. "I just need to talk. I need to explain. Derek ruined my life. He lied about everything. He got me pulled into HR. People hate me at work. My friends won't answer. I'm barely holding on. I didn't know how good I had it with you." I watched her talk and felt something unsettling. Not satisfaction, confirmation. She didn't miss me. She missed stability. She missed the man who made her life easier. She was looking at me like a life raft. I wasn't a life raft anymore. "Lauren," I said, "you didn't lose me because you made a mistake. You lost me because when I was hurt, you insulted me for being hurt." Her face twisted, tears falling again. "I was stressed, okay? I was scared. I felt stuck. You were so calm all the time, like nothing mattered." I nodded slowly. "My calm wasn't apathy," I said. "It was loyalty. It was trust. It was me choosing you every day without needing to announce it." She stepped closer. "I can change. I've started therapy. I quit going out with them. I blocked Derek. I'll do anything. Please, Ethan." I held the doorframe, steady. "You already did anything," I said. "You did the one thing that proved how little you valued me. Now you want me to fix your consequences." Her eyes flashed with anger through the tears. "So that's it? You just get to walk away like you're perfect? You're cold. You're heartless." I almost smiled. There it was, the flip. When begging didn't work, blame returned. "I'm not cold, Lauren," I said. "I'm done." She stared at me like she wanted to say something sharper. Then she did. "You'll regret this. You'll come crawling back when you realize no one cares about you like I did." I tilted my head. "You didn't care about me. You used me." Her face went pale. Then she turned and stormed down the hallway, wiping her tears like she was angry at them. I shut the door and locked it. That should have been the end. But the real ending came months later at a friend's engagement party in a backyard with string lights and cheap champagne. Noah and Bree invited me because they knew I'd finally started smiling again. I went alone, not because I was lonely, but because I'd learned something important. Peace is a better partner than chaos. I was mid-conversation with someone about hiking trails when I felt it. That familiar sense of being watched. I turned. Lauren was there. She wasn't invited. I knew that instantly from the way she hovered at the edge like she'd slipped in behind someone else. Her face tightened when she saw me. Then she walked straight over anyway, like boundaries were still optional to her. "Ethan," she said, voice shaking but trying to sound confident. "Can we talk privately? Just 5 minutes." Noah noticed and started moving toward us, but I lifted my hand slightly, calm. I looked at Lauren. "You got 5 seconds," I said. Her eyes widened, offended. "I came here because you won't respond. I needed you to see me. I needed you to know I'm sorry." I nodded once. "I already know you're sorry," I said. Her shoulders sagged with relief like she thought she was winning. "And I know why," I added. Her relief froze. She swallowed. "What do you mean?" I leaned in slightly, keeping my voice low, steady. "You're sorry because it didn't work out," I said. "You're sorry because your exciting coworker turned out to be a mess. You're sorry because your life got harder without me. But you weren't sorry when it happened. You weren't sorry when you called me a victim." Her lips trembled. "That's not true." "It is," I said. "And the difference between you and me is that I rebuilt without needing you to collapse first." Her face twisted, half shame, half anger. "So you're just better than me now?" I looked at her like the answer was obvious. "No, Lauren," I said. "I'm just finally better to myself." I stepped back. "Goodbye." She stood there for a second, like she wanted to argue, like she wanted to make it dramatic again, but she didn't. She just stared while the party noise swirled around her, and for the first time, she looked small. I walked back into the crowd, found Noah, and clinked my drink against his like a silent thank you. That night, I went home to my quiet apartment, took a shower, and slept deeply. Not because I'd won, but because I was done.